watching Oregon's News at 10 on Oregon's Fox.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for Oregon's News at 10. I'm Kristen Goodwillie. First tonight, some breaking news near the University of Oregon. Eugene Police have found the shooting suspect from Bailey Lane, and that suspect is in custody tonight. Eugene Police say they responded to a call near 14th Avenue and Mill Street to contact a potentially dangerous subject. SWAT and crisis negotiation teams have been called out to make contact more safely. Police are asking anyone nearby to avoid this area. This is a developing story, and we'll provide updates as we receive them. Now, earlier today, shots were fired near Monroe Middle School in Eugene, sending a man to the hospital. Police have confirmed one victim was shot on Bailey Lane around 10 this morning and was transported to the hospital shortly after, but we don't know the status of the victim just yet. As a precaution, Monroe Middle School was on lockout today, and Sheldon High School, Buena Vista Elementary, St. Paul Parish School, and Hull Elementary were on lockdown in the early afternoon. Police are saying the shooting was, quote, not a random act, meaning that the suspect and victim probably knew one another.
We've called out the Eugene Police Forensic Evidence Unit lab. They're here. They're going to start looking at all the evidence that's been left. We also have a canine from Lane County who's out here, hopefully going to find an article for us. We're doing an article search.
We're also hearing from parents whose kids were inside the school when the gunfire started. Many relieved parents say it was terrifying to get that message this morning using their emergency alert system. 4J alerted parents via phone calls, text, and email sometime after 10 this morning, telling them the incident was not related to the school and asking parents to please not come to the school. Instead, asking them to pick up their kids at the scheduled time of 3:35. Something parents say wasn't easy.
Two at St. Paul and one at Sheldon. It was really scary. Yeah, it kind of makes your heart drop. I heard that they were handling it very well. I liked that they locked the school down, and I did also hear that there was a large police presence.
I wanted to pick her up immediately, and I was really frustrated I couldn't, but I understand that for safety.
Carrie Delph with Eugene 4J says a lockout means the doors are secured and no one is allowed in. Recesses are kept inside, but besides that, the day goes on as normal. It's time now for a first look at that forecast. Let's hand it over to meteorologist Travis Knutson to see what's ahead. Travis, it still feels like summer.
A little bit. We have summer-like temperatures around the region, really. It's fall, but highs around 90 degrees for some spots today, and more of that to come for many more as we move forward. But here's a look at the headlines for tomorrow. Skies remain nice and sunny, temperatures to be well above average. Cooler weather, though, should start to move in as we get into the weekend. But here's a look at those highs for the state. Medford taking the top spot at 90 degrees today, 80s from Roseburg up to Portland, and even seeing some 70s on the coast. A look at those lows tonight. We'll drop into the upper 40s and lower 50s. Warmer than where we're at this morning, giving us a head start tomorrow. And here's a look at those high temperatures across the state for our Wednesday. Medford, baby, at 94 degrees, lower 80s for the Willamette Valley. And we're not done heating up. Thursday should be even hotter. I'll tell you how much hotter in my forecast still to come.
In southern Oregon, Medford police say crime is on the decline overall, but they're seeing an increase in something they call troubling. Crimes like assault, theft, fraud, and vandalism are all down for the year, as are drugs and traffic crimes, according to Medford police. But the number of sex offenders failing to register is up 52%. Medford police say that's not necessarily a bad thing because officers are the ones making sure more citations are given.
The offender's not going to come to us and say, hey, I didn't register, arrest me. We have to go out and track them down. So what we do is we take proactive efforts to go and find them, make sure they're at the residence that they said they're going to be at, make sure they registered within 10 days of the birthday.
The police crackdown is why Bureau says the percentage has increased. Medford police say holding sex offenders responsible for registering is a top priority to make sure they're keeping track of and show no signs of being a threat to the community in the future. An emotional hearing at the state capitol today. A Holocaust survivor is asking Oregon lawmakers to make education about the Holocaust a requirement in state schools. Alter Wiener spoke in front of the Oregon Senate Education Committee this afternoon. He's open about his experience as a Holocaust survivor and has given nearly 1,000 presentations about his life during that time. Alter spent 3 years in concentration camps, including Auschwitz. Most of his family killed by Nazis. His story has had a lasting impact on many students, like Claire Cernanowski. She wants to make sure every student has the same education.
It's alarming the amount that don't know about Holocaust or genocide. And for me as a student, it's crazy to me that this is not common knowledge.
State Senator Ron Wagner is hoping to introduce legislation that will require the Holocaust and other genocides to be taught to students. Some Oregon lawmakers say hunting restrictions on cougars should be relaxed. Fish and wildlife officials talked with the House Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee this morning. They say cougar populations have rebounded dramatically in recent decades, from just hundreds to more than 6,000. Director Kurt Melcher says that brings new challenges, including Oregon's first deadly attack earlier this month. Some on the committee proposed reinstating hound hunting to keep cougar populations around 3,000. The search continues for the driver that hit a wildland firefighter on Labor Day. 71-year-old John Howdeshell was injured in a hit and run while he was crossing Highway 126. Well, tonight I sat down with John Howdeshell's son about his father's service to the community and the long road of recovery ahead.
I wouldn't wish this upon anybody else in the world to have to go through this. And it's just that with what he has been dealt here, I know that he'll overcome it, but I don't know to what extent.
The Howdeshells are a family of service members. Ryan Howdeshell says his 71-year-old father, John, is a U.S. Air Force veteran.
When he's not doing fire season, he transports veterans to doctor's appointments all the way down to Sacramento.
John was volunteering as a firefighter at the Terwilliger Fire. After working on Labor Day, he and his crew went on R&R, rest and recovery.
Ate dinner and was walking back across the street.
That's when a driver hit John and drove off. It happened on Highway 126. John was flown to Peace Health Riverbend.
Somebody knows what happened.
Oregon State Police say they're looking for a 2004 to 2010 Toyota Sienna minivan. They were able to identify the vehicle based off of damage left at the scene.
We believe that the right headlight was damaged significantly, and the right side wing mirror was destroyed.
John has had 4 surgeries and is expected to be in the hospital 3 to 5 more weeks before he can start rehabilitation.
My father's insurance is more than likely not going to cover all of the bills on this.
It'll take a while to heal. John needs to learn how to walk again.
It's not fair that somebody who came up here to help the community became a victim and now has to shoulder the burden.
So, along with OSP, the family is asking for anyone who knows what happened to come forward.
My dad's a fighter.
Despite his long road to recovery, John wants to return to firefighting next year, continuing to help these communities. OSP says if you do know something, to call Star OSP to get dispatch. Residents in the McKenzie River area have also set up a GoFundMe site to help pay those expenses. We'll be right back.
We've cooled down a little bit from our daytime highs across western Oregon, and our temperatures outside right now still kind of warm considering it is the 10 o'clock hour. Corvallis is reporting 70 degrees outside right now. I do question if that is maybe a misreading observation because compared to everywhere else, 70 degrees is really warm. But we should be in the low 60s right now. And even now, temperatures outside compared to this time yesterday are still pretty warm. Eugene, 3 degrees warmer than this time last night. Corvallis, 11, if that observation's reading correctly. Tomorrow, we'll continue our warm up. In fact, Thursday, probably the warmest day for the state of Oregon, at least in this forecast. Current winds around the region fairly light, but primarily from a northerly direction. That matters because we're not seeing any westerly component to the wind, which means some of the cooler, wetter air over the Pacific Ocean, that is not what is moving its way into the state. Instead, it's drier air from the inland areas, and that air direction, that airflow is caused by this high pressure center out across the Pacific Ocean, which is keeping all the wet weather well off to the north. Now we have a storm system headed our way. It'll take its time. It's called a cutoff low because it's cut off from the main flow in the atmosphere. Eventually it arrives. It'll get here Saturday into Sunday and Monday, bringing with it some rain chances. But until it arrives, we just have this high pressure center keeping things very, very dry. You can see in our model forecast as we get into tomorrow morning, not a whole lot to point out. The marine layer you can see in the model forecast out here, but that's basically where it stays all day long. There's no westerly component to the wind to blow it onto the shore. So the coast, fairly warm tomorrow. Inland areas, warm tomorrow as well. And that stays the case for our Thursday. Even Friday will still be very dry and pretty warm, above average for this time of year. Cascades dealing with some upper 70s tomorrow. Central Oregon should be in the 80s pretty easily. A little chilly tonight. Redmond may be getting to the freezing mark for our overnight lows. The Willamette Valley, a warm day, above average tomorrow. Average high for this time of year, it's around the mid 70s. So we're above that, and we continue to climb. Thursday, 86 degrees, back down to the 60s though with some rain as we get into Sunday and Monday of next week, but the short-term forecast is very warm, above average. On the coast, upper 60s, low 70s tomorrow. Sunny, dry. South coast, blue skies overhead, maybe a few gusty conditions in the afternoon and evening hours. High temperatures in the 70s tomorrow as well. 72, about as warm as we get before we'll cool back to the mid 60s. Rain chances Sunday and Monday for those coastal areas. The Umpqua Valley, a bit toasty tomorrow in the 90s. Medford hit the 90s today. I think that Douglas County will start to see some 90s tomorrow as well. Thursday probably as warm as we get before we start cooling down once again. Rain chances a bit smaller in Douglas County, but still Sunday and Monday could see a few sprinkles with those mid 70s on the way, which is average for this time of year, but the short term is certainly above average. We'll be
The Oregon Health Authority is still looking for ways to combat the opioid epidemic. A group of chronic pain sufferers say they're worried about how the changes will affect them. Alex Hassenstaub talked with 2 local women who are working to stop changes to state Medicare.
4 years ago, Wendy Sinclair was in a car accident that left her with a spinal injury and a life of chronic pain. Without opioids, Sinclair says her quality of life diminished.
I could not come down the stairs. I was in my bed and I was in a ton of pain.
She and Eve Blackburn, who also suffers from chronic pain, created the Oregon Pain Action Group to combat the stigma of opioid treatment. The group is now fighting to stop proposed changes to Oregon Medicare that would stop covering opioid prescriptions for chronic pain after 90 days. And those who have used opioids would have to taper off.
Why take away an option from us that works for us? Because addicts abuse it.
The Oregon Chronic Pain Task Force recommended the changes to reduce the number of opioid prescriptions in circulation and encourage alternative pain treatments.
For some they work, some they don't. Like we say, that's why we like it to be an individual choice between the doctor that has your diagnosis.
Both women are writing emails and creating videos to let the public know about the proposed changes. They hope to get enough support to get health officials to vote against them. Sinclair says she's worried about what will happen if people with pain lose the medicine that allows them to live their daily lives.
A lot of people that I've talked to that lose their opioids become suicidal. Some of them actually commit suicide, and others become so hopeless and just disabled to the point where they have no quality of life.
Fighting for the right to fight pain.
The Chronic Pain Task Force will be meeting in January to discuss any revisions to the changes. The proposed changes will be presented for voting in March. There are new restrictions in place for medical marijuana card holders in Oregon now. Instead of being able to buy 1.5 pounds of pot a day, they can now only buy 1 ounce. Now, the Oregon Liquor Control Commission is enforcing the new limit in response to medical marijuana being sold illegally. The new limit makes it hard for patients who need larger quantities for medical relief. It also makes being a medical and recreational use practically the same. Some dispensaries say it's pushing some customers to get the marijuana they need without becoming a card holder.
The price is always going to be that same, so if you have to get 1 ounce and 2 ounces, it's just going to constantly stay the same without any price breaks. So you do actually have to spend more money now to get the same amount you were previously.
Next on Oregon's News, how this group of women is spreading the word on improving fish habitat. That's after the break. A group of women in Douglas County is working to be sure their land is fish friendly. Gabby Renda has the story.
With the splash, the women owning Woodlands Network got together at the Rock Creek Fish Hatchery to see what they can do to improve the fish habitat on their own property.
And we want to enhance our surroundings. So today we're learning just one part of that.
The goal of this group is to create a safe environment for women to network and ask questions, whether it be about a life cycle of the salmon or anything related to forestry.
Experience and share each other in a way that they probably wouldn't get to on a day-to-day basis because Douglas County is so big and they live so far apart.
Braz says it's important to be able to learn important skills such as stream management from other members.
We each have a different set of experiences and a different set of skills and knowledge.
Because the group makes all the difference.
We're not alone in, wanting to be good stewards, and we go home just jazzed to try something we learned about, or we're happy we met a friend.
The group is planning more events in the area so other women and fish can feel welcome too. Covering Douglas County for you, I'm Gabby Arenda.
Disney's The Lion King, the award-winning Best Musical, is premiering at the Holt Center in January, and you won't want to miss it. Tickets go on sale next Monday, October 1st. But Oregon's Fox has a pair of tickets you can win before they go on sale. Head on over to OregonsFox.com to sign up to win. We'll announce the winner Friday night during Oregon's News at 7 and Oregon's News at 10. Don't miss Disney's The Lion King at the Holt Center January 9th through the 20th. With Oregon's Fox, good luck. We'll be right back. Finally tonight, a baby orangutan was born via C-section at the Sedgwick County Zoo in Wichita, Kansas, September 7th. Doctors Laura Whistler and Jana Chibri of College Hill OBGYN were on hand to perform the delivery. The mother, Daisy, began labor on September 6th, but after encountering complications, the decision was made to deliver the baby via C-section. Zookeepers are caring for the baby while Daisy is in recovery. How cute.
Love the hairdo, right? Orangutan have the best hairdos.
Yeah.
Especially the baby ones.
Aw.
Yeah,
They're kind of like little human babies a little bit.
They're very close.
They are very close. I mean, but they're orangutans. We're having issues saying orangutans.
I like orangutan.
Orangutan. It's the right way. Sports is next. Have a good night.